So it really is about, I think it's an important point. I say interesting. It's interesting and important, I guess, to weigh that out. That very second right now, what would feel best versus what would be the best in the long run. I hear that a lot today where we almost confuse this. It's like we feel like if we feel a certain way, then that must be the right way. And I hear that in movies all the time, like, you have to do what feels right. And I'm like, no. Like, what feels right at this moment right now? I wonder if anybody in here is like, I'm in English 10, this feels good. This feels right, this is where I want to be. I wonder how many go, I don't know if you have chemistry or not, but if you go to chemistry later today, will you be like, this feels right, this is where I want to be? What would feel better? Because if the purpose in life was to feel good, none of us would be here. We'd all be asleep or drunk, eating all the time. And that would be our entire life. And then some of us sit there and go, yeah, that'd be so awesome. Okay, take yourself out of it for a second. How about if your parents lived that way? Just drunk all the time and eating. What would your life be like? So now look downstream. What would the people's lives around you be like if that's how you were living? That's the really hard thing. Well, that's one of the very hard things about life. It's weighing out what feels right at that moment and then knowing what's right. It isn't a way of saying that you should get rid of your feelings, because your feelings and your emotions should tell you the kinds of things that you want. But then there's that second part of you as well, which is your reason. And your reason should tell you how to get the things that you want. And it should also tell you if you should want the things that you want. Because you are these two things. You are a body, that's true, it's not deniable. But you're also a soul. There's two parts of you. They call it the ghost in the machine, whether you want to call it a soul or a psyche or a mind, whatever word you want to apply to it, there is some non-physical part of you that has to be satisfied as well. It isn't just eating all the food that you like. It's also having your mind engaged in things that interest you, that fascinate you. Because it's your mind that engages you to the world around you. If you just think about your body, well, there's a lot of pain and suffering. That's pretty much all that's in store for you in life. Yeah, there's some food that you enjoy, and there's some physical experiences to enjoy, but in the long run, that's a dead end. But those mental things are the things that really, I don't want to say tether us to the world, but make the world incredibly enjoyable when the other things fall apart. So for example, let's say that you enjoy running, let's say, and you're doing marathons. How long are you going to be able to run and do marathons? That's probably a stupid example because none of us really enjoys running right now. How about this? You really enjoy eating pizza. Okay. How long are you going to be able to eat pizza? Like constantly, every day, before you finally drop dead of a heart attack? I don't know, 40, 45 at the most, especially if you're like, oh, I hate exercise. Like those people who wear the shirts that say exercise. I thought you said extra fries. And they think it's the funniest thing in the world. Then you look at them and you're like, yeah, I bet you probably did think that. You can't live most of your life that way. Because even if you do and you think, wow, this feels great, it doesn't though. You're slow, you're sluggish, your mind doesn't work. You can't go out and do things. Getting up off the couch becomes a hassle. People get home from work tired, like physically tired, you can't do anything else. It limits your ability to enjoy life. But it's the mental things that really cause us to enjoy life. Love is a mental thing. Fascination is a mental thing. Even being entertained a lot of times is a mental thing. And so you are these two parts, you're a mind and you're a body, and you have to satisfy both if you're going to be a completely full human being. So figuring out how to do that, that's wisdom. That's going to be part of your life. Like the example I was using before about my friend who punched the police officer. So yeah, it felt good at that moment, but it jammed up his life for years. And what could he have been doing during all of that time? Getting his life in a better spot. What ended up happening to him, by the way, was that it made his life difficult. Getting work and all that was difficult because he had to always be in court and explain to his boss why he had to be there. So he had trouble getting a job and moving up in a company. It had an incredibly disastrous effect on his life. It didn't mean that I don't know what happened to him after a couple of years after that. But it doesn't mean that his life ended up in failure. But what it does mean is that he put himself way behind. He started living life on veteran mode at that point. And it's hard to overcome. And a lot of people, their natural impulse is to just quit. This is difficult, so I quit. People don't like me, so I quit. this is going to be, it doesn't feel good, so I quit. So the genius doesn't adjust his treatment of a theme to a tyrant's taste. Yeah. Now you guys run that track with Hunger Games. You can, it is important kind of like that to piss off the Capitol sometimes, because you prove that the Capitol can be beaten. I'm not saying you should run around and punch a police officer, but it does tell you something when somebody else does it. It tells you if the police officer can be beaten. In that case, it wasn't going to happen. Overwhelming too many people and all that. But it is important sometimes to see what's possible. The question is just going to be, do you want to be the person at the front of the line who shows everybody that it's possible? Or do you want to be the person kind of like in the middle or so, or a few spaces down, who can then follow up on that person who proved it was possible and be successful? And so, I can't say enough about that. It's important to test those boundaries constantly in your life to find out what's possible. I know that we're safety obsessed today, but it's worth considering. I'm gonna leave it at that because I want to get to this. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms, critiques?